Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
And Stephen.
Hello.
How you doing, guys?
No bad yourself?
I'm good. What about yourself, Stephen? How are you getting on?
I'm not too bad. Another week over. 3 more to go.
How's your weekend been? Dave, start with yourself. How's your weekend been?
Been busy. I've been playing wee bit of online poker with my mates and then doing pub quizzes, another one the night. So probably a busier weekend than I would normally have if I was just sitting in the house, to be fair.
Are you seeing your mates more now than you would before lockdown?
Yeah, without a doubt. Because I'm spending quite a lot of time on Call of Duty with them, and then if I'm not doing that, I'm quizzing with them or I'm playing poker with them. But if lockdown hadn't happened, I probably would have spoke to them at fives, and that was about it.
What about yourself, Stephen? How's your weekend been?
Quiet for a change. Making banoffee pie. That's as far as my weekend's going.
Nice.
But obviously I've got used to share it with this time.
As soon as this is all done, that's it, Dave. First week back, we're doing it in person. He's bringing a banoffee pie. I
don't know if I would trust him to make a banoffee pie or make anything.
What do you use for the base?
Digestive biscuits.
That's good. That's good. And what about the cream?
What else can you make of it, like?
Nice biscuits some people go with. There's other things, but what about the cream? Do you whip it by hand?
No.
Do you use squishy cream or something?
What cream?
Do you use squishy cream or something?
No, like topping cream.
But surely you whip it to make it nice and thick and thicken it up, no? Or is that too much effort?
It comes in a packet. You just mix it with milk.
Who cares? Let's go on about talking about Hearts getting relegated. Fuck's sake.
Fair enough. That's fine. If you still want to ask me how my birthday was, then fuck you guys.
It was your birthday! Yeah, that was a belter of a present.
Oh no, it's right here. I've got it right here, so people watching the video will be able to see. A Lego Batmobile. It is so cool.
No, I was actually referring to the fact that Hearts getting relegated.
Oh, right. No. The Lego Batman, no? But yeah, Hearts getting relegated. That was a great present. So, well, if they get relegated, we'll talk about that a bit more. But yeah, that was a good birthday. So, So I'm always, David, you've led on that. We might as well get on that. So I mean, league reconstructions failed. It came out on Friday evening. There was a Zoom chat that had been held. Proposal was made. Arguments against it were heard. Discussions were had. The clubs all voted and put their thoughts forward. And Hearts were relegated. I mean, further reconstruction was put on hold until the ongoing global pandemic is out the way. Forgetting about Hearts for a minute, don't worry, we'll come back to that. Dave, start with yourself. Is it sensible to kind of not shoot this down completely, but to put it on the back burner in this sort of time?
Yeah, because it's far too rushed. Just even, I think as soon as the phrase temporary reconstruction by Anne Budge was made, that was it. It was dead in the water, because a lot of folk were like, nah. And then you're just trying to shove something through that takes a lot of planning just to save Hearts. So I don't. Funnily enough, they have said that it's something, the conversations they'll go back to. Mm-hmm. So I think reconstruction will happen in the next couple of years, but not this year.
When Hearts miss out on the playoffs and they need reconstruction to get promoted in a few years' time. Stephen, you were against league reconstruction when we talked about it a few weeks ago, but with Hearts blinkers off, because that's kind of no longer part of it. What's your kind of thoughts on league reconstruction? If they took their time to kind of get the best decision, and there was, would it be something you'd be more open to now that the whole Hearts situation and saving names out the way?
Well, the thing is, it wasn't even just about Hearts. Last time it was about Rangers. The only time that league reconstruction ever seems to come up is when it's one of the top 4 teams in Scotland. Rangers never got promoted directly, so they wanted to talk about league reconstruction if we got promoted instead of them. Now Hearts are going to be relegated and they wanted to bring up league reconstruction then. They kind of just pick and choose when it's a valid topic.
But I was going to say, once the world's back to normal, is it something you'd like to see explored a bit more neutrally?
Well, it's not something that you can do in a season. It's something that's got to be like a 5-year process, because you've got to look at what teams can come up for Highland and Lowland leagues. How you can you're going to need more investment in Scottish football before you talk about league reconstruction, because you're going to need money.
I think what's important is that you maybe give a year that you're going to do league reconstruction, and it gives teams the time to be like, right, by then, if I want to fall into the category or maybe go up a league because I like expanding, then I maybe need to invest this to get there. So it's giving people like an even playing field, like that somebody just won't all of a sudden be fortunate enough that they've had a fluke season, they'll finish second and then they'll go up. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be planned and people know exactly what the story is.
Yeah, I think they need to get to the proposal agreed on, and then be like, right, this is coming in 2 seasons' time, and then what it means for promotion and relegation that season is this, and this, and how it's going to be different, and how it's going to So I completely agree. And Dave, on that, I mean, sort of hinted it towards there with Stephen. When it does come back, obviously it was led by Anne Budge this time. Does it need to be led by a neutral party, as much of a neutral party as possible? I know it's a difficult thing to get in Scottish football, but somebody neutral to everything.
Yeah, to be fair, I would probably have a mixture, chairman and players. Because you see what Amy McDonald tweeted?
No, I've not seen that.
Well, she's out with that. Is it Ricky Foster?
Aye.
Aye. Out with him. I think they're married or something. I don't know. I don't care. Amy McDonald's a good singer, but
aye, good cracking tunes. Absolutely cracking tunes. First album's a belter.
First album is a belter. But sidetracked.
What was she tweeting?
She tweeted saying that they had a vote, a player vote, and it was an overwhelming majority wanted reconstruction. But that obviously never got taken into consideration.
Yeah.
So she'll know that because inside knowledge for Foster. So it just shows you that the players are keen for it. And I've listened to Open Cy Ferry's Open Goal podcast. They were talking about it with who was it? Him that was at Rangers with the famous star.
Oh,
Josh Windass.
Aye, that's it.
Aye, he was saying that it would be so much better if you want to play everybody 4 times a week. He thinks that's really quite off-putting about coming to Scottish football, just because he was going on about how they played Aberdeen, Kilmarnock 6-7 times a season, and it's just too much, and it would be so much better if you only played everybody twice. So just shows you that the appetite is there for it, but I just think it's been rushed.
I mean, that's what I was saying the last time, was the fact that obviously with the league reconstruction, it's beneficial that you're not having to play the same teams 3 and 4 times a season, but you're going to need to get it up to a point where you've got enough teams that you are only playing them twice or 3 times max in the season. And that's where I was talking about, if you're going to keep the split, can you really afford to put the league up to 16, 17 teams? There's got to be some sort of balance, and I don't think that the current ideal with a split and then putting it up to 14 teams, if you want them to balance it off, you're going to need to look at the teams that are below League 2 that want to come into leagues and stuff. You're going to need to put it like the English sort of setup, where you've got enough teams to play each other home and away, or maybe 3 times max, and then bring other teams up into the actual professional league. But I don't know why people like Richie Foster are looking at league reconstruction as a positive, because he'll end up playing League 1 football in fucking 2 years' time. Because there's no chance that he'll can stay at a Premier League club if they're putting more in it.
I think this is a big point.
But... On you go.
A big point that's getting made is that everybody needs to stop thinking with self-interest and start thinking with the good of Scottish football.
Aye, and I mean that was my next question. English SMP or whatever his title is, Ian Murray, the Jambo, funnily enough, has said too many clubs had their self-interest ahead of the betterment of Scottish football. I mean, he does see the irony in what he's saying there. The only reason Hearts wanted this was for self-interest.
Yeah, and I think that's the mistake that Anne Budge made at the start. Is she didn't hide that. which fair play. She's tried to do the best for her football club, and to be fair, I'd expect Leanne Dempster and that to go and do the exact same thing. But we'll put it a bit better. But
So I guess the next sort of question, we look at Bundesliga, that starts on Saturday, apparently. Although one club has said they can't play the fixtures because 3 of their players have got it. So, could we see the last 8 games being played? Is there any chance of it?
No. See, I thought there was an outside chance until I listened to BBC Sports Sound yesterday, and the Hamilton chairman, Alan Maitland, came on, and he was saying that they've got 11 players going into contract at the end of May that they won't be coming back, and obviously football can't resume until, June the 12th?
Potentially, yeah.
Can go back to training, something like that, a date in June. So he said that their players won't be there, so they won't be fielding a team that's played this season already. So he said that it would be against sporting integrity for he wouldn't be able to field a team to compete. So he fully expects the season to just be called, and wants it to be called. So if that's like a team in our top flights in that, then, and he said that there's other clubs in worse positions. They were by no means the worst for players out of contract. So,
but again, has he not got self-interest at heart? Because if he does get called, he's that Hamilton are safe.
Yeah, he has, but that's the reality of the situation now. Everybody's acting with self-interest because it's just been thrown upon us. So, but if he's saying that and he's a chairman of a top-flight league club and saying that there's teams openly saying there's other clubs in worse positions, then you're just going to get people saying, just call it, just call it, just call it.
I know.
But you just look at our team, like obviously Jack Ross come out on Friday or Saturday there and says that like Sevco, Whittaker, players like that, they're not getting their contracts renewed until the season's like been completed because they don't know if they've got to keep them or not. Their contracts are out on the 30th of May or 30th of June or whatever. So like you can't, if you've got half a season to play, can you offer them a 6-month deal to play 8 games?
I know, it's a strange one. We're going to come back to like say next season a bit towards the end of the podcast. But I mean, personally, I think we're seeing Germany looking like it's going to start next week. I think the same will happen with the top flight in England, Spain back training, and what was the other one? Italy, they were back training as well. So I think the chances are those top 4 leagues will probably finish. I think Bundesliga 2 are playing as well. But I think the reason is because it's a money thing. They've got the money to facilitate it, but also like the money they would have to pay back if they had to call it would be a lot to the TV. So I think you could see those leagues finishes, but no, I think we're done in Scotland. Leagues like Scotland, I think you see Holland, calling it in a different way, but no, I think we're done. We just
France have already let off their league as well. France already offered.
Yeah, France. That's right. They were on my list there. France have called it. Paris Saint-Germain are champions. Dave, what were you going to say there?
Well, Brighton have said that a third person's tested positive. They got tested yesterday. Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of a Twitter battle going on this morning. People been like, the league can't restart because there is clubs with players getting it now. So I think, and Tam McManus said this yesterday on Sports Sound, that it's just developing. Was it Tam McManus? No, it was Mikey Stewart. Said that it's just developing like day on day, like literally, like it's so hard to look 2 months in advance when it's just developing all the time. Like things can just change in a second.
I know. So Hearts are going down basically.
Something like it.
It's
fucking funny as anything, right? But let's be honest with each other here, right? But can you imagine being in that situation? Their situation? I'd be absolutely beeling.
I wouldn't. I'd be annoyed, but at the same time, the way they've played this season, they
totally deserve it. Completely deserve it, but still rubbish.
You can't only turn up against Hibs and Rangers and have a change in manager and still not turn it around and expect to stay up. It's not.
They've ran like a farce for years. Like,
yeah.
Nah. So
it's. I mean,
they don't look at the positive side of it. The fact is, if they go down, you look at what happened last time they went down. They had a massive resurgence. They got promoted the first season by February. They were second in the league by Christmas. Like in the Premier League this season, that they went up. They brought other youth players back through. They actually built quite a good squad. Get rid of all this shite. Start again. Just take the hit for one season and then go back up. Like,
potential, but like
for 3 or 4 months.
I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Hearts and their potential next season and stuff, but the thing is, like, their final season in the Premier League, they were playing a lot of those young players and then just added a couple of bits to that and went from the Championship. Whereas I think they're going to have to do what Hibs had to do and have a complete clear out and have like 6-7 players left and then add from there. And then you've seen that took time for Hibs to get that team to gel. So it might not be straightforward for them. But anyway, the Rangers up next then. Let's have a chat about that. Dave, I asked you to do some research and I believe you've got a lot of notes.
Well, I've just been writing down everything that's been happening, or trying to write down everything that's happening, and just a wee disclaimer that it could be wrong, but I don't think it is. But it's just, the whole thing's just mental. It's petty from Rangers' side to seem to just keep releasing statement after statements that are quite clearly written by a 12-year-old with cranes and then typed up. It's ridiculous.
So what's the basics? Like, what's going on? Like, why are Rangers annoyed?
Rangers are annoyed because, but this is my opinion.
So give your opinion and then give what from you read from what Rangers have put out.
Right. So my opinion, Rangers are doing all this because they need to. Like, because in the terms of their fan base are going to be raging if Celtic are just given the league. Now, if Rangers aren't seen to fight this back, they'll get a lot of backlash for their fans. So they're pandering to the audience, basically.
Right.
So whenever you see a Rangers statement going out, you see the usual clubs, fans for other clubs laughing at it, and then you see Rangers fans being like, "Oh, staunch, like moan the Bears and all that, like crap." They're happy with it, so it's working to a degree because they feel they're just completely blindfolded by it. It's funny. So I love it.
So in terms of, so that's your opinion. What are, from Rangers' point of view, in the statements they've put out, what are they annoyed about?
Well, they've made this dossier, which they have held for weeks. I don't know why. I think they've kind of ruined it for themselves because they kind of built it up as if they had this big thing. It's like telling a bird on your first date that you've got a massive knob, and then by like the time you keep going on dates and dates and dates, you keep talking about this, but then you get to it and you kind of let her down a wee bit. You shouldn't do that. You should play it down, and then big reveal. But Rangers didn't do it that way. They did it the opposite way. Right. So they put out this dossier, and then so the notes that I've took now are basically all came from what Barry Anderson tweeted the other day, and then up in the group chat, and the SPFL have just rejected all allegations from the dossier, say that it's got no basis at all. So first claim that Rangers put in were that Rangers have made several false allegations about corruption and coercion and bullying by the SPFL. So the SPFL have said that they see these allegations as unwelcome and self-serving. So that again, we just spoke about that. Several clubs have asked what action the SPFL intends to take in relation to this. So it just shows that they are going to bite back, basically, once it's all done. And before we go into the rest of the claims, they have urged. So I think they are still having this EGM that they've called for.
Yeah, 2 days time.
Yeah. So they've urged that clubs vote against the resolution at the AGM, which is quite funny because a couple of Hearts mates and that are like, they can't tell you how to vote on that again, and I'm like, so. One of the other claims were that the clubs were erroneously told that they could only receive cash by voting for the SPFL resolution. So some of the questions that Neil Doncaster went on the radio and refuted that claim, but then posed a couple of questions back. So how would struggling clubs repay overpayments where they did poorly in the next few games? So imagine Hibs were paid for 6th, for example, finished 8th. How would we then repay that money back, or how would they then go about reclaiming that money?
Aye.
That's but the claims that the SPFL have put back out. So they didn't see a way of handing that money out, and I quote, those that think otherwise are being economical with the truth, or are demonstrating a lamentable lack of understanding of the current reality of Scottish football.
So for example, take Hibs, like teams in the top flight, have they received any money yet for league positions, or is that on hold?
I think that's on hold.
So
they were talking about Sports Sound yesterday, but they didn't even know what they were talking about. I think they said, so I think bottom of the league gets like 50 grand, which is nothing when you look at it. But I think what they were going to do was pay everybody in the bottom 6 50 grand, because that's as low as they could fall down, and everybody in the top 6, I think it was like 440 grand. But I don't know how that would work with Hibs, for example, because we could still finish. If they do the points per game thing, we'll finish 7th.
So does that not back up Rangers' claim then that the money wouldn't have been given out unless people had voted for this? So it takes like a Wraith Rovers, for example. You know, if they had voted against this and this hadn't passed, then they would have been in the same position as the Premier League, and no money would have been given out. Is that right? And they need that money now.
But
that money might have helped them.
Neil, the SPFL have said that it needs to be based on final league positions, but they're doing it in a way to look after clubs, because how would a club deal with becoming insolvent and then pay stuff back, i.e. what happened with Gretna? That's what they've said. So Gretna had money. Gretna owed a lot of people money, but then couldn't pay it because they were out their depth and then went out of business, so a lot of people owed money. So if money goes to Hamilton that should have went to St Johnstone, but then Hamilton go out of business or whatever, then they can't pay that money, then what happens? I don't know.
Yeah.
Another claim that they made was that Aberdeen negotiated a concession from Neil Doncaster prior to voting that the Premiership clubs would be consulted prior to the SPFL board calling the Premiership. So that's just been categorically said that that's false. A discussion had been had between Doncaster and Aberdeen about a request being taken to an SPFL board meeting, but prior to the meeting, Aberdeen said that they didn't want the request taken forward. So, didn't happen.
You've got all those pages there. But I mean, just as Dave's going to like his next point and stuff, like it seems like the way Rangers were talking, they had this one like smoking gun, this one bit. Oh my God, I can't believe that's true. And there's nothing. This is all very, not that exciting.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, like WhatsApp messages only take you so far, really. But I think that they've relied much on the build-up, like Dave says, and I think that what they were trying to do with postponing it was trying to get it to that EGM without anything coming out, just so that they could turn around and say, right, well, we've got this far, we've got all these clubs that have pushed through for the vote, we've managed to get that far, and then they turn around and they're like, oh, by the way, this is evidence we've got. And if it gets that far, they've got enough back and that they can just turn around and say, oh no, this isn't, like, if they get everybody in a Zoom call or whatever, and then they say, oh, but you've got to believe this, you've got to believe that, just the Rangers way, then they can maybe garner enough work to actually push their reasoning through. But the thing is, like, Rangers have got absolutely nothing to gain from it. They finished second in the league. They would have finished second anyway. like, I don't know how they keep going on about sporting integrity, considering their history for the last 150 odd years. But it's like it's just a dead end. Like, they've hit a dead end and they're going nowhere with it. So it'll all come out. I think I can't see it going any further. This EGM thing will last a day and then that'll be it.
Dave, is there anything else sort of from that sort of came out that even looked remotely like, oh Christ, that's actually quite a serious allegation, and there might be something in that?
Well, if anything, I think the next one's kind of backfired on Rangers a bit, because they've said that Rod McKenzie, who's the league's legal counsel, issued 4 cease and desist requests to Rangers chairman on the 10th and 11th of April. So that was around allegations that Donald Park has made towards the SPFL, calling for Neil Doncaster to resign. And the SPFL have made these requests to Rangers because the allegations were so serious and defamatory that they felt that it needed to happen. And they described it as wholly appropriate and proportionate legal response. So, like I say, making those allegations and shouting like Rangers are shouting and dragging their heels, they're probably just putting their shell into mere bother. And the SPL finished off that claim by saying, on no conceivable basis could this be considered bullying Rangers into silence, which is quite funny because Stuart Robertson, who's on the board as a representative from Rangers, said that Rangers never used the word bullying. He said that on the same day that Rangers tweeted saying we will not be bullied into silence, attaching a statement from Donald Park, who lists bullying several times.
Yeah.
So
nuts.
Unbelievable. The whole thing's like a parody, like an absolute joke. But and then they brought that Rod McKenzie in again by saying that he offered no assistance in drafting a members' resolution that would be effective. So basically, Rangers putting forward a different resolution to the ones that the 80% of the clubs voted for.
Yep.
And then this is my opinion. The Rangers are just moaning that they never got their way. You're no listening to what I'm doing, so I don't want to play anymore. It's like a kid in a playground. That's my ball. You're not playing.
Yeah.
And the SPL's response to that was quite simply that the suggested resolution was ineffective throughout. So it was pretty straightforward, that one, but mental. The whole thing's just crazy.
So, I mean, from what you've been reading through, Dave, I mean, what do Rangers actually want? What would make them happy? I mean, do they want Jim Traynor at the head of the SPFL and a big reshuffle? What was it they want?
They want null and void, Neil Doncaster to go and to win 55 at any cost.
Yep. 100%. That's it. It's null and void. That's the only decision that they want, because then it stops Celtic from winning their 9.
And that it just gets back to that infuriating thing about self-interest, because, like, they're saying about sporting integrity and coming out with all these catchphrases and all these buzzwords and stuff. If Rangers were top of the league and about to stop 9 in a row, and they were the ones 13 points clear, they would not be in this. They would not be making these arguments.
Yeah, and it's the exact same. Hearts wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Nobody would be doing what they're doing. Nobody. But they'd just be replaced by.
You're just in the middle of the table doing nothing.
Aye, madness. And then the last claim that the SPFL have accepted, funnily enough, they've accepted that this did happen, was Rangers have said that the SPFL sent a letter to UEFA on the 4th of April, which stated that the vast majority of the SPFL clubs are calling for the curtailment of the 2019-20 season. And the SPFL have said that's correct because it's true. Over 80% of the clubs voted, so this assessment by Neil Doncaster and Ian Maxwell is accurate. I love that. They've just went, yes, because that's what's happened.
Aye, strange one. I mean,
yes.
So I mean, I did listen to a bit of the Rangers chairman or whatever, I don't know who he was, somebody from Rangers. They've changed personnel a lot recently. He was doing an interview, I think, with Sky Sports and stuff, and saying he was quite surprised. Like he was saying, he was giving the reasons why they'd taken their time about coming forward with information about how these were the deadlines that the SPFL had put out, and how about that, like, it was the SPFL that set the date for the AGM. They would have liked it sooner, but it was the SPFL that set the 12th of May, and rather than just coming in to the meeting and just handing it out, they have sent it out in advance to clubs. And I thought that was quite an actual reasonable response about that. And then he sort of said about how he was quite surprised how quickly the SPFL have responded to each of their claims, rather than waiting and having a discussion with it on the 12th, and kind of said it was a bit unprofessional for them to come out and do that now. What would you say to that, Stephen?
I think it's more just a case of they already know the answers. They know what to expect from Rangers, because it's the same spiel all the time. They already prepared for every outcome, and it's basically just like if you have a conversation. Like if I went in a meeting with my manager or whatever, and they were saying, "Oh, you've done this, you've done that," I'd be like, "Well, no, I've not done this, I've not done that because this and because of that." If we went down to the pub and we were having a discussion, it's like, "Oh, here's my reasons. Well, here's my reasons against it." It's just a conversation. They've already prepared for the answer. It doesn't take that long to refute a statement from Rangers, because it's all false anyway. It's black and white. They've got what Rangers have said in front of them, and it takes 5 minutes to come up with a response to it, because it's like Dave says, it's like a 12-year-old child written it with crayon and then handed it to be typed up.
Yeah. What I would say in the back of that, though, Gav, is that so he said that the SPFL are basically unprofessional and should have spoke about it at this meeting on the 12th. But look at the way Rangers have acted in the build-up to this. And what part of that's professional? Or we've got all this evidence, by the way. Like, basically, like, we want it our way. Almost like bribing. Like, we'll put all this out, by the way. We've got loads. Like, try to use that as a power play. And then it turns out they've had absolutely nothing, because they couldn't get their way, so they've had to put it out 5 days before the meeting. And that's another thing that the SPFL have said, is that Stuart Robertson's come out with all these claims, but he's been on the board for years. So my question to that would be, if he's been on the board for years and that the SPFL have been run bad, because the allegations are not just about now, that would be how it's been run for years. Surely he's been complicit in that then, if he's not come out and said it then.
Yeah.
He's been involved. If he's not saying it until 5 days before a meeting, then he's been complicit.
Yeah, he should have came forward sooner and sort of said, aye, but it's only because Celtic are going to win the league that he's doing it, which is a bit frustrating, seeing all these teams like just being so self-focused. It's quite frustrating. So if I finish...
the Stranraer chairman, Ian Dugan, he was on Sports Sound yesterday, and he said that he wasn't even told that they were having a meeting yesterday. So he was blissfully unaware, and then he just found out after that the reconstruction plans had fell apart. So that's a bit distasteful for me. Like, they surely should have been told by they're going to have a meeting.
Yeah, aye, and that's how he sort of probably found out, like via like Sky Sports breaking it, rather than my club's been relegated.
Because I found that the whole Sports Sound thing yesterday quite interesting, because I missed the ex-Hearts chairman being on, but that's how I caught wind that it was even on, because I'd seen the kind of uproar on Twitter for it. So I was like, I'll go and listen to this. And then they had somebody for Brother Rangers on as well. And they were talking about how they've been pressured by the SPFL this year. And they wouldn't say any names of that, but a pretty decent size allegation. So Brecon aren't going down, right? So they're sitting at their club 42. They were meant to go into the Highland League because they were the sit geographically, but they put in a request in December, and they held a meeting in December, that they get put into the Lowland League because it would suit them better. So the Brother Rangers, I don't know if he was a chairman or just part of them, has said that they were pressured by the SPFL into accepting this. He wouldn't say how, but That's quite a big allegation. But he even said that he thinks that it should never even have been a conversation, because how can you move the goalposts halfway through a season to suit a team that's like Team 42?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at how many years that like East Stirling were sitting in Club 42 before they even introduced like promotion for the Highland and Lowland League. Like, they were like Club 42 for about 30 years or something on the bounce.
Yeah, but that's another thing that's a bit of a joke, because Brother Rangers and Kelty have not even been told yet that they can't go forward, because this is where it gets complicated. Like so the Lowland Leagues come under the SFA or something, right? But the SPFL is different members club. So the promotion to the SPFL isn't an SPFL competition; it's an SFA competition.
Okay.
So the SFA have put forward clubs to play in a playoff to play against the 42nd team, right?
Right.
The SFA haven't cancelled that. They've provided their clubs, which is Kelty and Brother. Whereas the SPFL have said, nah, it's not happening, and said that Beacon won't be playing in that because all league games need to be played for Beacon to play in that.
Why?
I don't know. That's what they've said. But
strange.
Kelty and Brother haven't been told that competition is cancelled.
Officially,
the SPFL just haven't put forward a 42nd team. So that's what they're saying. They're like, that competition is still going ahead. According to the SFA, that's still going ahead.
Wow.
But the SPFL haven't provided a club to play against. But we all know that that's not going to happen. But it is a mess.
Aye, like even if you do sort of say, you know, Rangers are being ridiculous and they're self-motivated and stuff, the SPFL don't come out smelling the roses after this. There is still problems there. And there's going to need to be a long, hard look at everything, not just league reconstruction, but the SPFL and everything surrounding it going forward. So, but I mean, just on this then, I mean, Rangers versus the SPFL. Dave, who's going to win?
SPFL.
Stephen?
First round knockout.
Cool. Hey, it's Gav here, and a bit of a shameless plug. I have started a wrestling podcast, funnily enough, with the guys that I done the draft with a couple of weeks ago. It's the Deep Fried Wrestling Podcast. We deep fry everything in Scotland, so why not our wrestling podcast? So the Deep Fried Wrestling Podcast, you can find it on Twitter at DFWPod, and you know, search for it on all your good podcast play, wherever you get Hibs talk, basically. So subscribe to that, where you take a deep fried dive into the ongoings of wrestling. So subscribe wherever you get that if you enjoy wrestling. If you don't like wrestling, then don't, and enjoy the rest of this. Cheers. So we are Hibs talk, so we better get back to talking about Hibs. Or let's talk about league reconstruction and the SPFL and stuff. Let's get back to talking about Hibs.
Wait. Just sing it for once. Just one. Dun, 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 dun. Right, go.
Okay. So let's get back to talking about Hibs. So we did. You guys, it wasn't with yourselves, but we did do a Hibs draft last week, 2 weeks ago. So if you haven't checked out that, know something of the dates. It's just us going through the squads from 09-10 to present, and just sort of taking it in turns to kind of pick our favourite teams, and we've got some stuff coming up with that. Billy's sort of putting a football manager save together with all the squads that we've kind of picked, which would be quite cool. We're going to compete against each other with that. But so
that was actually quite a good lesson, Barry, because I thought it was going to be shit. I will be honest with you.
You enjoy it though?
I thought it was good. Genuinely.
Who got the best squad?
you were quite clever because you picked quite a lot of the 2016 squad, so it kind of tugged on the heartstrings a wee bit. But
I mean, I got Rocky, David Gray, McGregor, Hanlon, Stevenson, and John McGinn. How did I know when? I had the best team by far. Dodge got 18 goals this season.
I don't think your strike force was up to much, to be fair.
How? Malonga was good.
I think Joe had too many players that I've just signed that I've not warmed to them completely yet.
Yeah. I mean, Halbert can't even get the team.
Probably Billy, to be fair.
Nah, biased.
I did like Billy's squad, to be fair, but then he swapped you for Canberra, so...
Aye, that's that'll improve my strike force. I'm sure we'll come back to him in a minute. But anyway, so let's get talking about Hibs then. So I check out the draft last week's or a couple of weeks episode if you haven't already. So we might as well have a kind of chat about the season. I mean, if the season is to end, we'll not do a full season review, but we'll have a kind of chat about the season a bit. What was your kind of thoughts on this season? Has it been a transitional season with a managerial change and some new faces coming in and some signings not working? So we just have to accept this was a transitional season. Dave, start with yourself.
The only transition that really does apply is Canberra leaving the club.
It's been a poor season. Like, I'll just say it's been rubbish. It's definitely no one. If you think about what's acceptable for a club like us, to spend quite a lot in the bottom six is just unacceptable. So obviously turned around for a bit with Jack Ross coming in, which is fine, but still, if you look at the season as a whole, it's been below par.
So I'm going to ask you two questions, but I'll say these questions and then I'll give you some time to think about them. We'll come back to them. So the first one is I want you to have a think about your favourite game of the season and the major differences you've seen between Jack Ross when he took over to Hickenbottom. But I mean, whilst you're having a think about them, how do you think the transfer window is going to look in general? Not just for a Hibs point of view, but in general. It's going to be quite a different transfer window because of this ongoing situation. The finances, the club's not been great. Steven, how's it? So Dave,
we're going to go for spending the money to spending the money again. It's going to be like every transfer window for Hibs fan.
Stephen, I mean, even sort of looking at like the Premier League and stuff in England and all the other leagues, how's this transfer window going to look? Do you think? Just sort of speculating.
I think a lot more clubs will look internally to see what players they can bring through at first point, which is quite good because obviously we've had quite a few discussions on group chat and that about young players that will come through, and I think they've got quite a good variety in our under 20s and reserve squad that would be able to make the jump, in position wise. I mean, we could replace, say, we could give Jamie Garland more time and put Canberra into reserves if we can't get rid of them. But I think youth have got to be the first priority. I think a lot of clubs in Scotland will go for players that are out of contract, and with the way that the season's wrapped up, I think a lot more players will be available out of contract. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll get Wilfred Boney this time. I don't know. What?
I don't know what you see.
You saying that you would be a job at Easter Road?
No, maybe 10 years ago. But I mean, three players that are big parts of the current Hibs squad are Stefan Omiyanga, Mark McNulty, and Greg Docherty. Dave, what's your kind of first thoughts on them? Are we going to see them again next season? And if so, in what capacity? Loans, permanence, or turning up to watch games when they're not playing themselves?
I think we'll probably keep Omiyanga. McNulty, I don't know. I didn't really know if he's that bold. If he gets another move, I think he'd probably just take that and go back down south. And Docherty, I don't think we'll get Docherty now.
I mean, McNulty has maybe not hit the goal numbers that he did his first spell, but I mean, he's still a good return, definitely a good forward, Stephen, Mark McNulty.
To be fair, I've never really rated him anyway. I've always said
He
that.
scores goals.
He's not a good striker.
I think he's no bad. I think he's no bad. It's just I'm yet to be completely sold. Like if he stays, then good. If he doesn't stay, then we can go out and get somebody that can do just the same job. I think.
I would 100% say he was second choice to Deutsch.
We play two up top. That'd be great. I mean, the fact that he scores a goal every other game in a Paul Heckingbottom team means he done something right. He's a good player. He scores goals.
I think he's good as well. I've not said he's rubbish. I'm yet to be convinced that there's no better.
Average.
So kind of getting back to the thoughts on the season then, Dave, do you have I've given you some time to think about. Dave, do you have a favourite game from last season?
Probably. See, I was working the Martin Boyle Tynecastle game, so I can't say that. So I'll go away to St Johnstone, which was ironically Eddie May's game. But I'll go with that.
Great fun. It was a great game. I think it was, we played with a bit more freedom. There was a sense of, I don't know, that something just lifted, and it was a much more fun game. Obviously, we scored 4 goals, which helped, but
Canberra had an absolute stormer.
Aye, great game.
Man of the match. Doy's got a hat-trick in Rat Boy.
Stephen, what was your favourite game of the season?
Probably the Motherwell game just after that.
That was a good game. Aye, lots of goals that game, exciting game. Yeah. Against a team that were kind of close to us in the table at the time, so that was a big win. I have to say, ironically, a Paul Heckingbottom performance, and I believe Dave wasn't there, which might have helped. But it was the Celtic game, the 1-1 game. We'd seen.
That was Finn Stewart.
Aye, we'd seen horrendous performance at Ibrox. And I just didn't go in with any expectation, and we actually played with a bit of bite. Josh Vela had a great game. Doidge kind of scored, but didn't really. It went down as an own goal. And we had a really great positive attitude. And I was like, right, okay, this is where we're going to kick on. And I felt really positive leaving Easter Road that day. And didn't feel positive again until Eddie May was in charge. But aye. So, I mean, we're speaking about...
That sums up our season, that a draw at home is your highlight of the season.
That sums
up what Hibs... That's why Hibs get to day with the day to Hibs fans. Build up expectations and shaft us, because your expectations are that.
I just remember it being a fun game, and it was a lovely day. It was really sunny. We had sunglasses on, beers beforehand, so I might be partially sort of putting personal.
Did we have beers before that game?
Aye, we had quite a few beers. Yeah.
Oh, that'll probably be why I can't remember then.
Oh no, wait, I didn't. You and Stuart had beers. I was driving. I had my wee C1. You were.
Oh,
aye. We picked up Stuart. Anyway, we're going off topic. And obviously, like Dave sort of mentioned, the game at Tynecastle, Boyle, 2 goals, that was brilliant. The only thing with that is the second half was horrendous. It was all Hearts. We just sat on our 2-0 lead, which, I like seeing us doing that. Go, embarrass them. Go for 4 or 5. Just, they were there for the taking that day.
Get used to it, because that's what Jack Ross does.
Aye. Watching Sunderland until I die didn't exactly make me feel a lot more confident about him going and killing off games. But anyway. But I mean, speaking of Jack Ross, and we sort of mentioned Heckingbottom there, what have you noticed the differences between the two?
I don't know. A lot of similarities, to be fair. They're both very sharply dressed.
Very sharply dressed.
Yeah. I would say that we get the ball forward a wee bit quicker under Jack Ross. Still got the potential to play it to death at the back, but nowhere near as bad as Heckingbottom. So I'd say that was probably a positive. Yeah. And playing 2 up front.
Aye, he was always trying to find a way to play 2 up front, and then I like the fact that Ross came in. The diamond had worked away to St Johnstone, and he kind of went, right, okay, I'm going to stick with that as long as I can. This is what's working, and kind of implement little things here and there. And then when it wasn't working, he changed it to the 3-5-2 and had some success with that. So I think that's a sign of a good manager. So I'm noticing something's not working anymore and freshening it up. Stephen, what did you notice about Jack Ross compared to Heckingbottom?
Plays a 3-5-2.
He's a winner in your book.
100%. No, he's got a lot more flexibility with him. I think he doesn't let things get up him as much. Like you knew fine well that with Hecky, like as soon as like there was something that he done that like never quite worked, or if the players were like horrendous, especially like the Ross County game when we were 2-0 up, and that he never had any faith that we were going to win the game. Like even when we were a couple of goals ahead. Whereas now there's like that instilled confidence, but I think that could also be down to the players. So I think that, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how next season goes, because he's not inheriting a Hecky team. He can take out all the shite that Hecky brought in as well, bring in his own crap. So I think I'm writing off this season, and I says that when Ross came in, I'm writing off this season. Just expected it to be distinctly average, and then we'll take it for next year.
So we spoke about the transfer market before, and if finances are going to be tight for everybody, finances could be tight for Rangers, and it might mean that they can't make a move for one of the loan signings, which means if no one else makes a move for him, Flo Canberry will spend his final year of his contract in the Hibs jersey. Dave, since Stephen's going to button in with his opinion straight away, let's hear from yourself. How would you feel about Canberry coming back?
Well, I wouldn't even put him in the reserves. So, Ken, how Tom James has been playing table football behind in the famous five?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even get him doing that either. What I would get him doing, what I'd get him doing is they obviously quite want to put some type of entertainment in for the Wains, a game or something. I'd get that dunking game where he sits on a wee shelf and then the Wains throw a ball and they've hit a target. But it's not just water. In the water there is like
acid.
No acid. No, I was going to say it's just filled with shite in that, like and then falls in.
Jelly. Let's go with jelly. Something that's quite frustrating to get out or something. Let's not go to acid, for Christ's sake.
Bias, I'd get them down. I'd probably quite good.
But I mean, obviously, it would potentially be quite a difficult reception for him if he did have to kind of play for Hibs again. However, I mean, we've all got our season tickets now. We've all kind of signed up, but it's a good chance, like, part of next season might be played behind closed doors. Could that be a benefit to him, Stephen, not playing in front of fans?
No, because then there's nobody to shout at him. Like,
I know, if he doesn't have fans constant shouting, I'll make him concentrate on his game and show he's a good footballer. Because, like, I know you still like him as a personality, but, I mean, he got the move to Rangers for a reason. He's a good player.
Well, I don't think he would put in the effort for us anymore. He's already made up his mind.
But we've seen Slivka put in some of his best performances in the last year. Players,
yeah, I like Slivka.
Players do it. And then in the last year of the contract, players will up their game because they know they're playing for a move. It's a guarantee. If he does come back to Hibs,
but you've got Canberry till 2022.
What's that?
You've got Canberry till 2022.
No, he's going into last year's contract.
So
then
also the contract.
To be fair, I want him absolutely nowhere near Hibs now. I'm done with him. But I think it's irreparable, and I wouldn't want to see him in a Hibs top.
We'll
have to wait and see what happens with that one. I'm sure there'll be
plenty of twists and turns. Player of the Year awards.
What's that?
Could you picture him turning up at a Player of the Year awards for us?
If there is a Player of the Year awards next year, I don't know what the world's going to look like, but yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Well, forgiving players in the past and that as well. Like, it's happened before, but I think Canberry was just so distasteful and disrespectful.
But so was Kevin Thompson. So was Scott Allen.
No, but Kevin Thompson has been said that he never said it.
But it doesn't matter. I didn't ken that until later. I still accepted him back and only found that out once he came back. Scott Allen handed in a transfer request to go play for Rangers that were in the same league.
But then he fixed that by going to Celtic and helping them helping them in their quest for 10.
And then when he did come back, he went straight through. Was it Rossiter or something?
Rossiter, yeah. Aye, that tackle did help. So what you're saying is, Canberra needs to come back and go through, I don't know, Connor Goldson.
No, Canberra will go through Marciano or something.
Aye, Canberra will come back and still be like having a complete rager at Rangers. He'll know what he come back and play for Hibs. He'll come back and sulk, and I just didn't want him, Gavin. I didn't care if we lose it in money off the back. If we can punt him, then good. But
it's gonna be tough.
He's damaged his value for us. Like by coming out and saying what he did, he's made himself know as much a valued asset at the club, and I think the club should go through him for that, because I think everybody can see that Hibs, it's going to be really hard for Hibs to take him back. So they'll lowball us with offers. So see for that, he needs to be
think about the Championship with Hearts.
He needs to be treated with the contempt it deserves.
Anyway, moving on. How's the rest of the season potentially going to? We don't know how it's going to look next season, but what are your hopes for the season? So I mean, we'll come to position in a second, but there's always that thing, lots of wins and grinding out results versus a style of play and enjoyable football. So, what's the priority for you, Dave, next season?
Priority is that we're fighting for Europe, like the whole season. No kicking about in the bottom six and making a push for it. I want to be consistently up that top half of the table, and I've gone through everything what Ron Gordon said. The landscape's maybe changed a wee bit since he said it, but that's what he said that we should be doing. So I don't expect it to be any different.
Stephen, what exciting attacking football, or is it now a point where we need to be concentrating on wins and getting up the table and consistently finishing third?
I think that Europe's priority. It's always been that way. I think with the type of football, like obviously you want to see the exciting, fast-paced attacking football, but I mean if it's not working, grind out a 1-0 result, go through players and get the ball in the back of the net. If I saw that 10 times in a 30-game season, and we played the rest of the games the way that we do and win the games, I'd be content with that.
Why can't exciting football not just be a thing though?
Yeah.
No, I mean I think we need to get the ideal balance. I think we need to be able to play the exciting football, but if it's not working against the teams and we're struggling to break somebody down, we've maybe got a big striker that we can put on and we can put balls up to him and he can take it down and we can change it about. Maybe get somebody with a bit of size that can go into the midfield and kind of be quite physical, and we can change it up. That's what subs are for, I think, and good tactics are for. So I think you need to have, one of my favourite managers was John Hughes, but he never had a plan B. I think you need to have a plan B and a plan C and plan D.
Yeah, I just don't want to see the ball knocked about at the back for then it to be punted up the park anyway. Just get the ball up the park faster.
Get the average pass length down by passing between the defence and then pump it up long and it doesn't look.
Think how much time we'd have in a game if we stopped passing about the back as much, and then to inevitably do what you could have done after pass 1, and then 2 took a throw in quicker. We take about 15 minutes every game.
Yeah. So
that's what they should all be doing. They should all be in the back gardens practicing for throw-ins. Every single Hibs player.
Stephen, what was your sort of positional aim for next season? And it's a weird landscape, yeah, but where are you wanting to see Hibs next season?
Third, but behind Motherwell and Celtic.
Dave?
Anything below third's not been aspirational enough.
Yeah. I'd agree. It's the problem. Like we can say about it's tough. Blah blah blah. Transfer market's tough. We don't have as much money, but every other club's in the exact same position as us.
I would say with that as well is that Derek McInnes has done a really good job at Aberdeen, but he's starting to become under a wee bit of pressure. The style of playing that, so I think we should try and capitalise on that, because I think how consistent they've been, if they were going to continue that, I'd say fourth would be an achievement, because knocking them off their pedestal, it will be quite hard. But
yeah,
they're under a bit of pressure.
Definitely.
I think Rangers and Aberdeen this season, like the upcoming season, they'll be the ones that will be easiest to overtake because of their model and the way that they've like built their team over the last few years, and that they bring in a couple of decent players. Like Rangers won't have the money, and I think that that's maybe another reason why they're like pushing for this null and void thing, is that they'll have taken a massive financial hit with the coronavirus thing, and they'll not have the resource to pay $5 million for Hagi. And I mean, if they can't get Canberra on a permanent contract, then there's no chance that they'll be able to get better in. So I think that they will be there for taking, and especially considering our model where we're not paying over the odds for players, and we've got a team that are all on sort of, the players that we do have are on long contracts. I think we should do all right.
I think Rangers and Celtic are gone. That's it. Yeah. Back to normal. And regardless of that, I think Rangers will also die trying to stop 55. Like, they'll spend money that they don't have to stop it. So I just think to stop. What did I say? Stop 55. Stop 10.
Stop 10.
You get 55. Sorry, I'm Rangers daft. I'm obsessed. All I've got in my head is the 55. They've jumped into me. Aye.
No, I agree with that. I think it'll be Celtic and Rangers quite clear out next season, regardless of what happens. So we'll finish up there. It's been nice to kind of talk about Hibs again for a change, rather than just Hearts and SPFL and Rangers. And aye, but it was, thank you for doing the research for that, Dave. It was very, very well informed. So it was, I kind of feel like I understand it a bit better than I did at 1 o'clock today. So thank you for that. So what you guys got planned for this week?
Finish off my game with FIFA now.
Who are you?
I'm playing the PlayStation.
I guess PlayStation, but what team are you on FIFA?
Oh, what team? I thought you said where am I? I was like, PlayStation. Oh, just Wolves.
Wolves, cool. Is that career mode?
Nah, I'm just playing online.
Did you get rid of Doherty? You better have.
I've never had Doherty on my team.
Good. Right. Good. That's what I like to hear.
You didn't need Doherty when you've got Traore in front of him.
Nah, no, but I can't stand him. So.
What about yourself, Dave? What you got planned for the rest of the day?
Wee quiz later on the night, and then I've acquired a power washer. Everybody's doing it, and I feel like my monoblock's looking dirtier than the rest of the streets. So I'll go out and blast the mud from my monoblock onto another bit, because that's the thing about power washing. It's not like a Hoover. You just fucking blast it somewhere else.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's so stupid. But I'll blast it out of my monoblock into the street, or I'll go into somebody else's and they'll have to do theirs again, and I'll become the monoblock wars. It's going to get messy.
Aye, sounds it. Right, well, we'll finish up there, folks. Make sure you follow us.
What are you doing, Gav?
What am I doing? I'll be editing this, and then I'm trying to decide whether to stay up for the wrestling tonight. I mean, if I do a wrestling podcast as well now, then I probably should stay up. But
shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, that was seamless. Wrestling is shite. There you go. There's a combat to your plug. Go try and edit that out.
Right, the Gav SPFL statement incoming.
But yeah, I
might give it a go, because I've not watched wrestling since.
Oh, don't do that now. Wait, I shouldn't say this when I'm trying to get a wrestling podcast up and running, but no, there's no fans in it. It's not the same. Just wait until there's fans, and then watch AEW. Don't watch WWE. AEW is really good. Yeah, it's really good.
Right, no worries, mate. I'll try and get a go. I'm in a wrestling WhatsApp group with my mates, but it is for a laugh, like a jest, because they know that I don't like it, so they've included me. But it's on mute for 1 year. So.
Aye, so I might sit and watch that. Back to work tomorrow, so be tired for that, I guess. But working from home now, so it's kind of getting used to that. So that'll be my week. Aye. Right, well, follow us at HFC Talk. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts, all that usual nonsense. Thanks for. It's good to catch up with you guys. I can't wait to do this in person. It's so much better in person. This is. That'll be fun to edit.
Smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies
That's sway, boys.
drive the
Yeah,
dark
we sway.
far away.
When does the main bit kick in? I thought it was sooner.
I don't know.
For like 2 minutes time.
Let's just keep listening. Can't sway.
I won't be long.
Yeah, I was going to get later than it.
That as you saw me go, I was singing this song.
Here we go.
Meet again. Don't know when. Don't know when. But I know we'll meet again.
Oh, yeah.
Some sunny day.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, folks. We've got more videos you can check out. You can also follow us at HFC Talk, and why not subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, where we talk about Hibs, funnily enough. Cheers.